release on the NFL Network tonight. I'm into the schedule release. I think schedules matter. I do, but Steve, let me ask you: do schedules matter? Did you wait for it? Did you care? What did you look for? What do they mean?
Well, good afternoon here on the East Coast, and yes, the schedules do matter. The way the league is doing it, they're doing it tonight at 8 o'clock on NFL Network. Hosted by Rich Eisen, Colleen Wolfe, Kurt Warner, Steve Mariucci, Steve Weiss, Deion Sanders, and a lot of other guests as well. And what I love about looking at the schedule is it gives you a peek into what your season can look like, right? When we saw the season, when we see the schedule, teams break it up each game into quarters, and there are games in those quarters that you ain't got a chance, right, just based on that team. And then there's times where you go, okay, we can squeak this one out. And then let's just say a team like Buffalo, right? Let's just say you playing Buffalo on a Sunday night primetime game, and you're in Buffalo, and it's late in the season. That defense is a slobber knocker. They cause turnovers. They hit you in the mouth. They get a lot of pressure, right? They're constantly in your face. Well, all of a sudden, you're playing them in December, and it's cold, physical team. No one's 100% in December.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, man, and you're away. So now you've been sitting at home all day in the cold, sitting in Buffalo in the cold versus at home where you can maybe get away from football for a little bit. Say you play a Monday night game. After meetings, I go to my kids' lunch just to get away and let my mind not get revved up too soon before the 7.5 hours before the football game starts. So all of that stuff plays a part.
Yeah. No, I think it does. I think this with no OTAs this year, I think certain teams like a Cincinnati with a rookie quarterback, if you don't get much of a fall camp, I don't think that helps you any. I think veteran players this year, because of no OTAs, I think like Russell Wilson, it's going to help him.
Yes.
I just do. By the way, you're in Carolina. I've always been a huge fan of Teddy Bridgewater. I was never a huge fan of Cam. He wears me out. But I think he's talented. Are you shocked they didn't keep Cam?
Well, I'm not supposed to have relationships with people, but a lot of people talk to me, so I have a lot of information.
Yeah.
With all that being said is, the lie would be, yes, I'm shocked. The truth is, no, I'm not. And the reason I say that is because I talk to a lot of people, but also understand what this team is. And here's what I mean. Matt Rule had a 7-year deal. Remove the money part.
Yeah.
7 years says we're in this for the long haul. We understand it. Mr. Tepper is a hedge fund manager who understands long, passive income over time, understands that your money must work for you even when it's sleeping. So in the morning, it may be blood on the streets, but later, a couple of days later, it may get cleaned up. So understanding the long process of a passive income is income generating over a long period of time. So you have to be patient. Real estate, passive income stocks, you can't get in the stock market trying to get a fast cash. And so you got a new coach who wants to implement some of the stuff he wants. And if you don't believe me, how does a guy have 7 picks and he picks all defensive players?
Yeah.
He's filling the void of areas he believes needs to be filled up. Defense, young, cheap.
Yep.
He utilized offense through free agency, meaning I called it patchwork. Not that anything wrong with Teddy Bridgewater, just more of saying Teddy Bridgewater is not going to be the quarterback there for the next 9 years. He's not a spring chicken. He has a little bit of miles on his speedometer and some injuries, right? And so then you have an offensive line who really is trying to get fixed. They've traded, put some guys in. So there's a long process in which they're starting this process now. They're warning the fans, even though you may not read the writing on the wall. I don't want to say rebuilding, they're rehabbing, right?
Yeah.
They're rehabbing. They're not removing the cabinetry completely. They're sanding it down, stripping away all the bad parts that they deem are bad. I'm not saying Cam is bad. They deem that they can do without, and repainting it. And that's how rehabbing, construction kind of goes. It's a process. In phases.
Yeah. Steve Smith joining us. Alex Smith, 17 surgeries on his leg. I almost
Crazy.
wish it's just too much. I'm going to be nervous watching him. You actually broke your leg, I think, in 2004. You came back, had a huge year in 2005. Was there a moment that you thought, this is brutal? I broke
Several.
And that did you ever think about retirement?
I never thought about retirement. I wanted to know how much longer. So I did it in September. I was not completely able to walk without either a boot, crutches, or air cast until late December.
Wow.
And then the pool work I was doing was in January, February. I wasn't really feeling good until training camp. So that's September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So you're talking about 10 months. Think about it, 10 months. Do you know how many times I questioned myself at 10 months? Do you know how many times I said, I don't know how this is going to work out? How much doubt I had, how much negative talk, how many tears I had? You know, it's like anything else. Just like we're talking about, the Carolina Panthers. It's a process.
Did you ever worry about getting hit once you did play?
Yes. So at the time I was with Reebok, and so I had my shoes constructed. The guys used to make fun of me. I wore high tops. I wore literally like the old school Converse high tops. It was Reebok, but I wore shoes that went up to the top of my surgically repaired because I broke my tibia or fibia, and I tore the ligaments in the inside and outside of my ankle. So they had to repair the ligaments as well on top of the break.
Oh, Lord.
So that's what you call a hot mess, right? I had a lot going on.
Steve. Wow, you just had a great career, man. You know what? And you're a tough guy. So if you had questions, I mean, I look at that Alex Smith stuff and I think to myself, dude's made 100.
I had to turn it off.
I can't watch it, Steve. I can't watch athletes. I've told Joy this. I can't watch pro athletes get hurt. I can't. I can't. I can't watch the Theismann. I can't watch Alex Smith. So you couldn't watch it because you've been through it and you know how brutal it is.
Man, you know who I couldn't watch? I couldn't watch Gordon, the guy from the,
God, Gordon Hayward.
Oh, Gordon Hayward, when they showed that, I almost puked. I'm like, why do we need to rewatch watching a man fracture and tear his stuff out of the socket?
Oh, God.
It was bad, but some folks like it. That's why we got doctors. I can never be a doctor. I got a Belgian Malinois right now, and it's a female, and she's in heat. And let me tell you, brother, I am squeamish dealing with her right now.
So you don't like blood? Yeah.
Wait,
You don't like blood. Sure. I don't like blood either. I cut my finger in 9th grade. I still have a scar on my hand. I passed out. I can't take blood.
No, I hate to say it. I love you, bro, but I'm not soft like that.
I'm pretty soft, Steve. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm just a talking head. All right, Steve Smith, NFL Network tonight. Love your stories. Good talking to you.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. I ran into him one night in Manhattan Beach. I was at a restaurant with my wife. Steve Smith walked in. He just got off a flight from, I think, South Korea. We sat there and chopped it up, and he's a tough guy. He's a tough guy. Mother's Day is Sunday, but given the current situation, many mothers and grandmothers will not be able to see their loved ones to celebrate together. But Lowe's is doing something very special, donating $1 million worth of flowers to moms and grandmas in more than 500 senior housing facilities around the country. Lowe's is partnering up with Uber to deliver those baskets in a contactless way to keep everybody safe. Lowe's targeting coronavirus hot zones, New York, Chicago, Boston, Houston, Miami, Seattle. Join us in the herd in thanking Lowe's for giving back to their community again and making for a special Mother's Day. So I have Michael Lewis, author of Moneyball, The Blind Side, The Big Short. Big Short was a good movie. I've watched that a couple times. I've watched Moneyball. I mean, you know what's funny? You don't think I'm a hockey fan, but Miracle, and people don't think I like baseball and hockey, but my favorite two movies of all time, sports